What is going on, everybody? It is DZ Sports Talk here, and I'm coming at you with another video. And man, what an absolute weekend it was for Michigan football. Michigan football, like including the Detroit Lions. This is probably the best weekend of my life in terms of football, I will say, and probably the last 24 years since Michigan won the national championship in 1997. I mean, the Lions got their first win. What more can you ask for? It's absolutely amazing. So they finally won, and that's honestly probably the most excited I've been for a Lions win. They like the 2016 that was a fun season just because of all the fourth quarter comebacks. So it was like this game, and they won like all their 9 wins was pretty much just like that. And maybe the games that come close to it was the Vikings Lions game, where Prater the 58-yard field goal where they drive down the field, got the field goal, went in overtime. Golden Tate flipping into the end zone for the touchdown, and then maybe the Thanksgiving game, Darius Slay interception, Matt Prater game winning field goal. But man, this one's just different. This one just so much emotion when they I was watching the game with some family and friends, and we were all dogging the Lions, just like, oh yeah, Goff's gonna get sacked, fumble right here. Like there's no chance. We're just dogging him the entire way. Last play, we're all completely silent. See the catch, and everyone is just going crazy, man. There was nothing like it. So, and what I gotta say is Dan Campbell has these their boys are playing for him. I don't care what anyone say. This team is playing for Dan Campbell. The defense is playing out of their minds for what they have. They're 21st against the pass. They're like bottom 5 in points and all that, but 21st against the pass. And when your secondary consists of Mamani Aruwariye, Jerry Jacobs, Tracy Walker, Will Harris, Dean Marlowe, and CJ Parker, and including Ifeata Malafanu, who just came back this week, and defensive line consisting of Charles Harris, Julian Okwara, 2 rookies, and Alib McNeil and Levi Arunzarike, this should not be happening. Will Harris is the worst rated safety in the league. CJ Parker and Jerry Jacobs are undrafted free agents from this year. Warrior has struggled sometimes, but he's made some big plays this year. He has 5 picks on the year, just third in the NFL. But you got to be doing something right, especially. I mean, Aaron Glenn is a mastermind. I'll say that. I want to keep him around for as long as we can. But when you have teams like the Vikings, Titans, Cowboys, Bengals, and Ravens, and the Chiefs, who are all playoff teams, who are all one of the best teams in the league, who are behind you in that, that's pretty impressive. And the Lions have been dead last in the league in passing defense and brutal pretty much every year when Patricia was here. And like one of the worst defense of all time was when he was here. And that was with significantly better talent that he traded away pretty much. And I'm not here to say Campbell's the greatest coach ever, but people who have been calling for his head and his job the last few weeks are got to be out of their minds. I mean, these guys are just so black and white. It frustrates me. I don't know who they think the Lions are, where they can just fire their coach in the first year. Who would come here? Who would be better than Dan Campbell right now? Dan Campbell has the one thing that you cannot teach, and that is respect from the locker room. That is getting guys to give all your 100% effort. Guys who like you. You have to have a good personality. You have to have the look and image to get respect from the players. Patricia didn't have that. A lot of coaches don't have that. Matt Nagy, Mike Zimmer, Dan Campbell has that. And I'll say, I mean, people don't like his play calling, but since he's been calling the plays, they've been pretty much neck tight with every team they've played. Derek Barnes, even after the game, said that they want the win for him more than they want it from themselves. They just want to see Dan Campbell. They want to see that smile on his face. They love this guy. And he's giving all of his effort every week for this team. You can see how exhausted he is sometimes, but he's never given up. He just wants it for the players. The players want it for him. They're coming together, and he gives his 100% effort. And you see it on the field too from the players. They're giving his effort. And no, I'm not going to say Campbell's the perfect coach because there are a lot of mistakes he has made throughout the year. Play calling, decision making with timeouts and game management. That 4th and 1 where they call their second timeout and 4 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and then come out with the play action pass on like 4th and inches. I'll say that was a pretty terrible call. But I'm not going to say I'm not going to call for his job after that like some people are because I don't think that defines who he is. He can learn and grow from this year. He's tried out a lot of different things. A lot of it hasn't made much sense. There's been a lot of timeouts that shouldn't have been called. There's been delay of games that shouldn't have happened in big spots. And I think he'll look back on the year. He'll get with his staff. He'll look back and he'll realize what he needs to do, what not to do. He has a mindset where he's not just doing this. He's not like Patricia. He's not just doing it his way. So I'm not really too worried about some of the play calls. But another impressive thing is the Lions are 8-4 against the spread this year, which I know that might go over some people's heads, but that means they're pretty much significantly outplaying their talent level. It just hasn't resulted in wins till now. Like they've just been in so many games, they've only been blown out a few times in which a lot of people thought it like they don't have a chance every single week. Like you see who they're matching up against, and there's no way they can do that. But they just somehow find ways to keep it close. The team just plays down to the Lions level, and hopefully we can bring that energy next year and the years in the future just to build a winning team here. And let's take a look at some of the rookies and players who stood out. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 10 catches, 89 yards. He just looks smooth out there. He's looking more and more comfortable out there as the year goes on. He had his first touchdown this year, but he looks like he can be a really solid slot receiver. He catches the ball, like he doesn't drop the ball very much. He had a few drop problems in the early of the year, but he can get open. He can make the first downs. He's just a gritty player. Uh, Penei Sewell had another great week. He's just been dominant pretty much. He's just looking so comfortable out there. Jerry Jacobs, he's just making plays all over the field. Like he might give up a big play sometimes to like Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson, but I mean he's an undrafted rookie, but he's just making he can tackle. That's like he tackles like a linebacker sometimes. He's had 2 tackles for loss yesterday. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Jerry Jacobs. I think he can be a solid player in this league. Ali McNeil and Levi Onwuzurike have just been playing pretty solid the last. I mean, pretty much Levi's been getting a lot more playing time, and he's making some stops out there, so they've been solid. Derek Barnes was making plays. He's flying around. He had a big 2-point conversion stop. The running backs, Gabo Ikabuke and Jamar Jefferson, like they can be an NFL running back. Ikabuke has good balance. He can break some tackles. He's not the fastest guy, but he knows how to run. Jamar Jefferson, kind of the same way, but I think we can have like a DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, those two. I mean, that's a pretty solid backfield. And there is it's not much, but there is a slight glimmer of a foundation here. The offensive line, they can run the ball. They pass blocking was pretty solid last week. Taylor Decker, I mean, I don't really know how good he is. He's like a fringe. I guess he's still like a top 12, top 13. I'm still waiting for him to have like that one year where he's just looking like much better. He seems to not be improving too much. I know he had the injury and he's out for a while and he's still trying to get comfortable out there, but man, he's a veteran now. He had signed that big contract. He better live up to it for the next few years. But there is a slight glimmer of a foundation here, and it's pretty much all the people we drafted. But I also do like Julian Okwara. I think that guy can be a real solid. I mean, he could be a rotational edge, but he also could be like a 10 sack guy. He's got the build for it. He's got the speed for it. He's just had some injuries lately, but he's been on the field. And Charles Harris, he's got what, like 6 sacks on the year now? I mean, he could be a rotational guy. I don't think he's a starting defensive end. But when I tell you, I want Aiden Hutchinson with the number 1 overall pick. I know it sounds like a homer, but Kayvon Thibodeau didn't really show up too much in the big game. He's not been super productive. He seems like he just disappears out there. And I know some people saying, oh, he's so good he doesn't have to try, and Aiden Hutchinson has to try. Well, I'm not really buying that. Aiden Hutchinson's been playing out of his mind this year. He's literally giving it all. It seems like he's on like crack every game. The dude's just mauling people the entire time. I don't see Thibodeau doing that. And I think that's exactly what we need here in Detroit. I know people are like, oh, I don't want to waste his talent here. I don't want him to come to Detroit, but we need to try something. And we haven't tried anything like this before. But this is a culture guy. This guy who knows about Detroit. He seems like, I don't know if he would want to come here, but I think DC could convince him to because he's absolutely the epitome of an MCDC guy. He plays hard. He's a freak athlete. I mean, he has 15 sacks on the year. What more could you ask for? And Jared Goff has actually been looking somewhat competent for the last few weeks. So I'll give him his credit. I've been super tough on him this year. I've been calling him the worst quarterback in the league. I guess that might be a little bit too far, but I mean, the way he was playing this year, it was absolutely brutal. I think it was mostly just mental. Uh, Mental and obviously the talent around him is not the greatest, but I think a lot of it was on him and he was just not in the right space. They benched him. He's back on, and he's been actually somewhat confident. His completion percentage is very good, but he's making some decent throws, and they probably won't be taking a QB with their first 2-round picks. They could end up getting one in the second or third round, but they really got to be sure on the guy to take that because they have so many holes. We need positions. We need players all over the field. So I don't know if they'll be taking a QB this year. But I mean, if he can be a decent quarterback next year with a few more pieces around him, that'll set us up nicely. Hopefully, we can draft a quarterback next year. I mean, people are saying, "Well, let's get Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud next year," but what if if we want this rebuild to go how it goes, we're not going to be getting another first overall pick or top 3 pick next year. I mean, that's not very good. We want to show some signs of improvement to get maybe, I don't know, 5 to 7 wins next year. 7 wins might be asking too much, but I mean, we need some results eventually. And I don't want Goff to stick around a lot. Like he has been looking confident, but he's not. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. So I think that's all I got for you today, guys. I'm getting some Michigan content. Sorry, I was out of town this weekend, so I'll be getting some Michigan content. Some of the talking about Red Wings. They've been on fire lately. A little bit Pistons on the road. There's not too much to talk about them, but we'll get that all stuff for you guys coming up, including the Tigers, their signings and all that, what to look for. And that's all I got for you today, guys. Hope you enjoy. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This is ZZ Sports Talk. Peace out.